As Africa changes, wildlife is on its heels, and heroic conservationists are fighting back. But one animal's slide towards extinction has gone unchecked, and now these forgotten giants are almost out of time. When people and animals collide, things are never simple. In this wildlife-human conflict, I'm often called in to seek out the truth, to find out what's really happening on the front lines, and identify the heroes who are making a difference. My name is Ivan Carter, hunter, conservationist, and wildlife investigator. As we fight to save the endangered elephants, lions, and rhinos of Africa, the continent's tallest land mammal has quietly fallen under threat. Giraffe have already disappeared from 7 African countries, and their total population has plummeted by over 40% in just 3 decades. But conservationists have been slow to respond, and many governments remain unaware of the problem. To combat this silent extinction, more awareness is needed, more research, more funding, and more places like this.
You know, this is Murchison Falls National Park in Uganda here, and there's a vast array of wildlife here, but the one thing we take for granted, though, that's always going to be there and that's always going to be the same, is giraffe. But that's not always so.
Stretched out along the banks of the Great Nile River, Murchison Falls is among one of the last places in Africa where giraffe are safe and thriving. So it's here that I've decided to begin my journey into the heart of this very urgent and rarely examined issue.
I'm coming here to meet the Chief Warden. I want to find out what he's actually doing that's causing these giraffe to grow. Why is the populations of giraffe so very healthy in this national park?
The Chief Warden here is an old friend of mine and one of the most dedicated conservationists I know, Mr. Tom Okello.
Morning, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you again.
Excellent.
You are welcome to Murchison Falls National Park. Have a seat,
Thank
please.
you so much.
Yes.
Oh, it's a beautiful park, eh?
Sure.
We've seen so many animals.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've been around a lot of Africa, and you're doing such a good job here.
We have tried. It has not been easy, though.
In most parks at border populated areas, subsistence poaching puts pressure on protected wildlife. 6 years ago, Murchison Falls was no exception.
No, when I arrived here in 2010, towards the end, the situation was not good. Basically, we were besieged by snares, I would say.
Silent and inexpensive, snares are the most common tools used by bushmeat poachers, and Tom's park was covered in them.
We would organize rangers, a big group of about 40 to 50 rangers, and then we do a sweep. I remember the first time we recovered over 1,000 snares in 1 week, and it was like, what are we doing here? We are besieged. 1,000 snares in 1 week, and with several carcasses on them. And then we said, what do? We need to reorganize ourselves.
So Tom reshaped the entire anti-poaching initiative in the park.
From rescuing 5 animals in a week on snares, these days we can stay for a month without hearing about any snared animal.
Congratulations for what you've achieved.
Thank you very much, really. Let me see you the results of our efforts so that you really appreciate what the rangers have gone through. We have huge catchment of different types of hardware which they use for poaching. But these are very dangerous traps and they're very heavy. Once an animal comes and the leg goes inside there, it is history. We get some of them with even legs of animals cut.
No way.
The animal has gone. So it is common to see animals with 3 legs.
I mean, this is brutal. I mean, this is...
These are the snares themselves. Different types, made of different materials.
These are the dangerous ones,
These are the
cables,
dangerous. These are the ones which are catching even non-targeted animals.
One of the major problems with poaching on this scale is that it's indiscriminate.
They put it on an animal trail, a giraffe will get caught in it. They are targeting an antelope, then a giraffe comes and gets trapped in it.
A wire like this, out in the bush, puts every walking animal at risk, particularly the far-ranging giraffe. And despite Tom's efforts, snares continue to plague the park. My tour is not yet done when one of Tom's rangers brings him a report from the field. A wounded giraffe, spotted just this morning with a snare wrapped tight around its leg. Wasting no time, Tom dispatches a vet response team and asks if I'd like to ride along.
We are ready to move.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It seems I'm about to get an up-close look at what it takes to save an 18-foot-tall, 3,000-pound, wounded wild animal.
Come, under.
I'm Ivan Carter, and I'm in Murchison Falls National Park in Uganda, where I've just learned that a giraffe has been spotted with a wire snare wrapped tight around its leg. Now, the park warden and I are linking up with a field team in an attempt to save this giraffe's leg, and possibly its life.
We have a researcher, Julian Fennessy, and from the Giraffe Conservation Foundation. He's doing a great job.
Tom tells me that I'm lucky to be here this week. One of Africa's foremost giraffe experts, Dr. Julian Fennessy, is here working with Tom's team.
You know, these people are passionate with giraffe.
Yeah, they are.
Julian loves his giraffe. I think he dreams giraffe when he's sleeping.
He does.
I've heard of this giraffe guru throughout my travels, but I've never had the opportunity to meet him.
So this must be Julian and the team, eh?
Yeah, I can see the vet is also there now.
Perfect. Julian Fennessy.
Glad to see you. I'm fine.
Originally from Australia, Julian's work now takes him all over Africa, where he regularly consults with teams like this.
Got Dr. Eric Enyel here, who's leading the team here, and all the guys are preparing all the ropes and whatnot. And we see a little giraffe over here that we're going to take down.
Says you got a snare on him.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not a good situation, but I mean, these guys are amazing. These guys do one of the best, I think, operations I've seen across the whole of the continent. So they get in quickly. They've got a team on hand, and you know, Tom and his boys really do an amazing job.
As the team prepares, I speak with Dr. Fennessy about the animals he's devoted his life to.
Man, there's a lot of giraffe here, Julian. I mean, we've seen big herds of giraffe here.
It's stunning, it's absolutely amazing, but this is just one area that is thriving, but it's not what's going on across the rest of the continent.
The perception is that there's giraffes everywhere.
Yeah. No, there is not giraffe everywhere in Africa. There's less than 100,000 giraffe in the whole continent.
Really?
100,000. That's 4 times less, at least, the amount of African elephant.
No way.
So that's why what they do now is actually helping to save one of the most endangered animals out there.
Well, looking forward to being part of that.
Our mission today is to remove the wire snare from our target giraffe as painlessly as possible. To do that, the head vet will have to tranquilize the animal, and giraffes require a dangerously high dose. Once the animal is down, the vet will have only a short period of time to apply the reversal drug before his patient's life is at risk. That's where the ground team comes in. It's our job to physically bring down the animal and give the vet access to its veins.
Alrighty, game time.
With the team prepared, we head out into the savannah. And it's not long before we spot our target giraffe.
You know, we're just easing in on this giraffe here. Apparently it's his back leg that is injured.
The vet prepares his dart gun, takes aim, and fires. The clock is running.
The giraffe's got a dart in him now. It's 10 o'clock exactly. We're going to take the time and start to see when it shows signs, and that's when I believe the rodeo starts. Still just hobbling along. Obviously in intense pain with that back leg, like in the state that it is. You can see how he's starting to lift his nose a bit. Look, look, look. We're going to move our way in. The giraffe's fully showing signs. He's completely unaware of us now. He's on the brink of going down.
We approach cautiously. If we spook the giraffe and it runs, we'll lose our window to reverse the lethal tranquilizer now flowing through its veins.
So the ropers are getting prepared to go and trip him. Under. People. Come, under. On the head.
We cover its eyes to keep him calm and limit what he experiences of this operation. The vet gets a reversal drug in and the giraffe is stabilized. So we turn our attention to the wound, which is far worse than I could have imagined.
The wire's still deep inside the wound here. It's still down. So they're using that hook to pull the wire up. Watch out.
Just one kick from these powerful legs could easily crush a man's skull.
Okay, we've got the wire out. Pull it. Pull the wire, pull the wire. Watch out, watch out, watch out. Yep. Watch out. Wash the leg, wash the leg. Bring water.
With the wire out, it's time to treat the wound.
Don't be a blood. Just
So
wash.
what they're doing is they're washing. Watch out, watch out. Where's the brush? So we're just washing water. Okay, we've got to get all of this rotting flesh away. The smell is absolutely unbelievable.
The process isn't easy for any of us, least of all a giraffe.
Watch out, watch out. We're just putting this antiseptic in here. The wire is being removed. This poor thing. Watch out. We've got to be careful of this. What we've done is we've removed this wire. It was quick. Just getting this wire out. We now have to turn this giraffe over to get the dart out, because the dart is on the underside just by Murphy's Law.
Try to lift that leg. This leg is from down, not from up. And be careful.
Yes,
also.
yes, yes.
Come. Hey,
You guys on the neck. As you are turning, you also turn.
1, 2, 3. Oh! Hit. 1, 2, 3. Oh!
Okay.
Where's the leather man? Use the leather man.
Watch your leg.
Michael, behind you.
Remove the lid. Remove the blood.
But there's another problem.
Again, Murphy stepped in here, and there's a hole right here, and this giraffe could break its leg as it stands up. There's holes everywhere here.
Give me.
So what we're doing now is we're going to turn the giraffe back over. It's unbelievable how this team works. It's just unbelievable. Very, very efficient.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh!
Keep pulling. Okay, take the rope away.
The ropes are removed and the giraffe is free to stand on its own, if its wounded leg will allow it.
Okay, my boy. Yep. Unbelievable. That was quick, eh? Unbelievable team we have, eh?
Nice one, guys.
We are proud of them. And this is conservation. It is no longer survival for the fittest. There's a lot of human influence. People are coming in with wires. People are coming in with automatic weapons. We need to intervene to save these animals. We cannot leave them to nature anymore.
Well, thank you for what you do for conservation.
Yeah, thank you very
We
much.
need more people like you.
Please.
After the operation, I grab a ride back to headquarters with Dr. Fennessy. He insists we make a brief stop at one of his favorite spots in the park, where our talk turns, once again, to the plight of the giraffe.
Across Africa, these numbers are dwindling as a result of just people. I mean, it's brutal what's happening to them, and it's not their fault. Suffering at the hands of people who need to feed themselves.
It's a tough deal.
Julian tells me that of all the dangers facing today's giraffe, a simple lack of research and awareness is by far the most damaging.
Oh, you know, Julian, across Africa, without study and without this kind of awareness, things disappear without you even realizing they're going.
I totally agree. I mean, we could easily see giraffe going extinct in some of these countries very soon, and that's what we were trying to stop.
Julian's next destination is the remote desert of northern Namibia, where he's been spearheading the longest-running giraffe study in all of Africa. When he asks if I'd like to come along, I jump at the chance. But I have no idea what I'm about to get myself into. While saving the life of an animal in Uganda, I had the pleasure of meeting one of Africa's top giraffe conservationists, Dr. Julian Fennessy, who's invited me to join him on a research expedition. To create awareness for Africa's disappearing giraffes, better data collection is needed, especially in the most remote regions of the continent. And it doesn't get much more remote than northwestern Namibia.
Well, we've been going for 4 or 5 hours so far, and we're heading generally in a northwesterly direction. And as we get off the hard top onto the dirt road, you see the vegetation starts to get sparser and sparser. It's just getting drier and drier and drier as we head out here. And there's very few signs of people out here. There's the odd little village and settlement, but man, you can see why they call this one of the most remote parts of the planet. It's hard to imagine that there's animals that live out here.
But giraffes have been thriving in this desert for hundreds of thousands of years.
Very few trees now. It's really dry.
And as I come over the next ridge, these ancient animals make their first appearance.
What What an incredible animal to live in an environment like this. Look at these things. I mean, it's just so dry and arid. Every species that lives out here lives a very delicate existence. What an amazing animal.
Unlike the rest of Africa, where human population growth and poaching wreak havoc on the giraffe, Namibia's giraffe numbers are actually increasing. It's thanks to the government taking a direct and active interest in the issue and the cooperation of local communities and private conservancies. But a big part of the effort here is the groundbreaking research that's done by Julian Fennessy and his organization, the Giraffe Conservation Foundation.
Well, the cars here say GCF, so I think I'm finally in the right spot.
Ivan?
Yeah.
Mate,
How are you, man?
Been a bit of a drive?
A little bit. I mean, your directions were a little bit sketchy.
Oh, pull your head in. But I tell you what, no, Pete, our vet, and we've got a whole GCF team here. Token hat
Very
for you,
nice.
part of the
Thank you,
team.
man.
We need to go practice some giraffe capture, mate. There's no
really?
time. You're bloody late.
Well, we did our best.
Middle of nowhere, hey?
Absolutely, man. It's beautiful on the way in here. Eh?
Grassroots operations like the GCF, though critical to saving the Namibian giraffe, still do not receive funding from the government. So hiring professionals is out of the question. Instead, Julian has assembled a team of volunteers from around the world and placed them under the supervision of experienced wildlife vet Pete Morkel.
So the plan is we're going to dart a giraffe and then we're going to rope it. Our plan is to get the job done as quickly as possible. Get in there, do the job, get out again.
You know, when you look at this group of people, some people are zookeepers, some people are researchers, some people are interested parties or donors. It's not like being with a capture team that does this all the time, that does it for a living and has got the operation down pat. This is a group of unrelated people, all with a common interest and a dedication to the species, but also all trying to learn how best to work together to get this job done.
The job is a dangerous one. We'll be placing a GPS tracking collar on an adult female giraffe while taking important measurements and samples along the way.
We're going to come in quite aggressively, deploy with the rope. Usually what we go for is look who's probably the strongest and the fastest to sort of lead. We're going to get, that is not you.
Just listening to that, I mean, this is a big deal that's going to happen out here. It's quite high risk for the people on the ropes. They're literally going to be trying to hold back this giant animal. So there's a lot at stake, and I believe that they were going to want me to be a giraffe right now. So we'll see how this works out.
Our day's first training run is about to begin.
Behind him, Luke, behind him. You're going to have someone on his back. Fasten up, Pat. Okay, side. Pick up the sides, equal sides. Go down. Okay.
Sure, it's tough to be a giraffe.
Things get a lot more serious when it comes time to practice with our capture vehicle.
Promise you, I've seen a lot of damaged people. We've never killed anyone. We've broken a lot of legs and arms and stuff over the years. So just hang on tight.
This time, I'm driving the chase truck, while someone else plays the giraffe.
Okay, that's good. Ready, wait. Let's go out. Up high. Okay, under. Okay, someone on.
The group continues to practice, honing their skills throughout the rest of the hot desert day. As they head for a much-needed rest, I find Julian alone, quietly taking in the evening.
I mean, this is the most beautiful country in the world, is it not?
Oh, it is. It's unbelievable.
I mean,
Look at this. Just look around us, Julian.
if this is not the land that God created in anger, as Namibia is known for, I don't know what is. This is harsh.
What makes an Australian dude come here and spend all this time? Why giraffes?
To me, it was just as a young lad to get out and have a bit of a laugh, and came to Africa and all of a sudden found a passion. And to me, it's surprising that no other people really studied giraffe. They never looked into giraffe. There was a gap. As a biologist, I thought, hang on, we could learn something here. I mean, to me, this is a lifestyle. Let's be honest. We wouldn't do this. We don't get paid enough. But, you know, we're here to make a difference.
Yes.
And we've got a support network across the world that hopefully will continue to grow. If we can't do this together, we're going to lose the most amazing, majestic animal in the world.
No, I agree, Julian. And you know, all I can say is that the giraffe are lucky to have you.
Julian's organization has already identified and catalogued more than 250 individual desert-dwelling giraffe. But with a booming 12,000 giraffe in Namibia, there's still a long way to go. And in conservation circles, a lack of data is as dangerous as any poacher.
And so the collaring, Julian, are we going to do it all in this river system down here?
Yeah, so, you know, the giraffe move over this whole massive landscape. You know, we're talking about 50,000 square kilometres range around here. We don't know how far they're going, we don't know who's going where, we don't know who's mates with who. So what we'll do is we'll put on a few collars down here, and if we can know where they're going and what they're doing, we can help protect the area that they're in.
Absolutely. Well, after having practiced being a giraffe, I'm not sure if that's how the giraffe feel like it is, but there was a lot of running and a lot of shouting and a lot of piling onto each other. I think tomorrow's going to be pretty exciting.
Oh, it's one of the best things you can do with your pants on. It's absolutely amazing.
But tomorrow, there'll be no more room for fun and games. I'm Ivan Carter, and I'm in the deserts of Namibia, working with a dedicated group of volunteer researchers, and we're about to place a GPS tracking collar on one of the female giraffes in this nearby herd.
Okay, folk, today's the real thing. Had a lot of fun yesterday galloping around. Let's have no illusions about it. There's quite high risks involved. We could end up with a dead giraffe or a dead person. Let's not be silly.
As with the giraffe we saved in Uganda, Pete will have to use a deadly dose of tranquilizer to bring this animal down as quickly and as safely as possible.
Sounds crazy, but we found it's by far the best. If we use too low a dose, these things go on forever and exhaust themselves.
So we're actually overdosing.
It's a gross overdose. We're using a very high dose, get it on the ground, immediately give the antidote.
So the danger if you lose sight of it is that it goes down and actually dies.
So it falls to this newly trained team to get the giraffe down in time.
You can just feel the stakes are high today. Yesterday, it was a lot of fun, a lot of practice, but you can see everybody's demeanor's changed just a little bit today.
Once loaded up into the truck, our first step is to locate a suitable candidate for the collar.
Just stop there. That's female. It's definitely female on the left there.
Pete prepares the tranquilizer.
You can see the length of the needle part of it. The giraffe has got a very, very thick skin, and you've got to get the drug intramuscular.
Hey, chaps, look sharp, eh?
Here we go. This is the real deal.
I maneuver the vehicle into position. From the moment Pete takes his shot, there'll be no turning back. The giraffe takes off at a dead run.
The dart's in, the dart's in.
And we pursue.
It's going to get on fast, don't be ready.
We have just minutes to bring down this giraffe and deliver the antidote.
It's on our left now, guys. It's on our left.
But with wild animals, things almost never go as planned.
It's down, come up.
She's down on her own, and we're still dangerously far away.
Ivan, no, Ivan, you're gonna go right.
In a remote corner of the Namibian desert, I'm with a group of volunteer researchers trying to get a collar onto a female giraffe. With a deadly tranquilizer flowing through her veins, this giraffe has fallen on her own. Now I need to get my team and the life-saving antidote to her before it's too late.
Ivan, no, Ivan, you're gonna go right. Straight to it, straight. Ivan, stop! Come up. Okay, everyone, out. Don't touch the dart. Stay away from the dart. Okay, move your leg.
Pete administers the reversal drug.
Hold the head, keep it still.
Now all we can do is hope that we got here in time.
This giraffe went down incredibly quickly from the dart till the time it went down, less than 2 minutes. So obviously the dart went into a place that's very well supplied with blood. We've given her the antidote. Now we're just waiting for her breathing to get even. What Pete is doing now is just going to monitor her blood oxygen level. Breathing's not yet regular. Here we go. The antidote's just kicked in. Up till that point, you're never really sure. And now she's breathing regularly. So now she's fully wide awake.
Since she needs to lift her neck in order to stand, our weight alone is all that's keeping her on the ground.
Steph's going to come in and start measuring. And one of the reasons for measuring like this is because no one's really measured giraffes across Africa. And so even though we've got this idea of which species is the biggest and which species is the smallest, in reality, no one's actually measured. Okay, Julian's doing possibly the most difficult of all of them, which is to measure the bottom of the hoof. We could see a flying giraffe researcher any minute.
That's what everyone wants.
That's what we want.
Julian to go tumbling again. We got 2 meters 37. Not short though, 2 meters 37. He's a little bit taller than me. Fairly tall bloke, you know.
With the measurements recorded, it's now time to fit this lady with her tracking collar.
So we're putting this collar on. It's got 3 straps at the moment. It's like a head harness. So we put it on the top. GPS unit sits up here, so it's got greater access to the satellites up in the sky.
Yes.
It's like a radio tower.
Yes.
Sending a signal. So we're just making sure we'll fit it a little bit, and then we'll check it.
Julian, why the colours on it? Why not just one colour? Why go to the effort of painting it?
I reckon it looks sexy for one, but actually it's called the oddity effect. More animals are likely to get hunted by predators if they have something that stands out. It's been proven all over the world, so they blend into the giraffe better.
Being non-invasive is the cornerstone of any good wildlife research.
You know, we're just readjusting the collar, making sure that it fits absolutely perfectly is crucial to not just the success of how long it's going to stay on the animal, but also for the comfort of the animal and the well-being of the animal. You know, a lot of folks would say that it's the wrong thing to do this, but the reality is the amount of information that you can gain from this is so important to the species, so important to the future of conservation.
With our work done, it's time to let this giraffe get back to her herd.
1, 2, 3.
Take it off. Nice one.
There we go.
Well done, mate. Thanks, Pete.
With no injuries to the animal or our team, it's a job well done.
No, it's a good one. She seems quite happy. She'll go back. Her mate's sitting over there. So hopefully she goes back and says g'day and says, I've got a nice piece of jewellery.
Yeah.
I reckon you're jealous. Do you want one? That's all good.
The data Julian collects from this one collar will play a critical role in ensuring Namibia remains a world leader in the fight to save the giraffe. Inspired by this country's success story, I want to see what other African nations are doing to help protect and rebuild their giraffe populations. In my home country of Zimbabwe, it's not the government, but private conservancies that lead the way. And I've heard of one property that's experimenting with a radical way to eliminate giraffe poaching once and for all. And it's the giraffes themselves that make it all possible. Giraffes are disappearing from this continent at an alarming rate, and conservationists are not keeping up. I've already been to 2 countries where efforts are underway to reverse this trend. And now I've come to my native land of Zimbabwe to see how one conservancy is combating one of the most present threats to giraffe continent-wide: poaching. You know, this is certainly not your obvious anti-poaching destination. I'm standing here with Pete Fick, one of the managers of Booby Valley Conservancy. The Booby Valley Conservancy specializes in preserving and rebuilding fragile populations of endangered animals. But with so many towns and villages on its borders, Booby's thriving wildlife is seen by many as an easy source of food and profit.
This conservancy's got a very unique way of dealing with their subsistence or their meat poachers. This is all giraffe meat.
In the back room of this small butcher shop on the Conservancy, Pete is attacking the very heart of the problem.
In this area in the Booby, we've got surplus giraffes.
Successful management of the giraffe here has led to more animals than the Conservancy can support. And it's those surplus giraffes that allow Pete and his team to feed their neighboring communities with legally hunted meat.
I would imagine that this is one of your very best anti-poaching initiatives.
It's our best.
It's an impressive example of outside-the-box thinking.
You know, you would have never thought that using giraffe meat would be effective in combating poaching, but it makes complete sense. By managing the giraffe population, you're also using the meat that's generated from that population control to feed the communities, and so getting the meat for free without having to poach it. Of course that's going to eliminate poaching, but that's not an obvious solution until someone actually puts it and lays it out in front of you.
And the community, everybody, the giraffes themselves benefit from it. It has virtually stopped the poaching.
This is modern-day conservation at its finest. I'm so impressed that I asked Pete if I can help with today's delivery. Moments later, I'm wearing a white apron.
This is a man-sized chunk of meat. 800 kilograms. If we chop that into half-kilogram piles, 1 pound piles, what's going to end up happening is we can feed 1,600 people a pound of meat. That's a lot of meat from just 2 giraffes. Unbelievable.
One of the most important goals of conservation in Africa today is to resolve the conflict between the humans and the wildlife. Building this trust and these relationships with the neighboring communities is just one way the Booby Valley Conservancy is helping to save what's left of our wild continent.
A lot of happy people here, everybody loading up their Scotch carts. This right here, even though it's not obvious, is conservation in motion. And then my poaching apera. Sure, eh? What is he saying is, I said, how's the poaching coming from your area? They laughed at me. They said, now that they get meat on a regular basis, there hasn't been a poacher come from their community in years.
And that means the giraffe here are safe.
There's other parts of Africa where giraffe are getting poached to the brink of extinction. Here, giraffe are getting off-taken legally, distributed to the community legally, and that's leading to a total elimination of all bushmeat trade. What a great solution.
As I get ready to leave the Booby Valley, I hear news that a familiar face has just arrived at the Conservancy. Where people are working to save giraffes, Julian Fennessy is never far behind. So I head out across the park to check in with my new friend. The rumor is he's in Zimbabwe to make history. I'm Ivan Carter, and I've been traveling the continent, exploring the problems and solutions facing Africa's disappearing giraffes. Today I'm in Zimbabwe, reconnecting with giraffe conservation hero, Dr. Julian Fennessy, and we're about to make history.
Well, we've just got into this open area here. Great place to dart a giraffe. Actually, the first time a giraffe's ever going to have been collared in Zimbabwe.
Just like the collaring we did in Namibia, Julian is here to fill a research gap, tracking the movements and patterns of a previously unstudied giraffe population.
Morning, gents. Julian, good to see you, man.
Mate. Good, mate.
Good to see you.
Yeah, likewise.
Good, man. Hey, long time, eh? Good, man. Good to see you.
Our strategy is the same as the other dartings, only this time Julian's working with a budget. Today, we have the advantage of a support chopper and the expertise of Zimbabwe's premier capture specialist, Nick LaGrange.
How's it going to work, Nick?
We're going to go up with a chopper, select an individual, and we're going to dart it. Obviously, you'll be with the roping team. So we'll try and position you guys as much as we can before we put the dart in.
Perfect.
And then once we get the dart in, we'll try and keep them going towards you guys. Knock it down. If you can help us, just grab the head.
Perfect.
Keep the head on the ground.
Perfect.
Okay.
This has never actually been done in Zimbabwe, has it? No one's ever put a collar on a giraffe.
Never heard of it before. I mean, they really are the forgotten giant, I think. You know, they're the tallest animal in the world, yet we know so little. So I think, you know, this is going to make history, and hopefully we're going to find some amazing stuff that can really help us conserve these animals.
It's a definitely unique opportunity.
I'm ready when you guys are.
Right.
Let's get out there, let's have some fun.
Absolutely. Giraffe rodeo. Okay, this is pretty exciting. This is the beginning of this operation, an operation that truly is history. Julian's equally excited. He's in the vehicle right behind us, so hopefully this is all going to go according to plan. Radio check, you copy?
Yeah, I've got your phone. Over.
Yeah, roger that. The chopper's seen the giraffes. We're looking for a big mature female. There's quite a lot to this. Once the dart goes in, I've got to get this vehicle right up to the giraffe as quickly as I can. Probably going to get a little bit hair-raising. I'm hoping that we're not going to have to rush through a bunch of this kind of terrain. It'll be very tough to get through this terrain. A lot of stumps here to watch out for. We don't want to blow a tire on the stump.
If they move at a fair distance to the west, yeah, we're just going to turn them around.
But the commotion from the chopper has driven the herd into the thick bush.
The chopper's having a little bit of trouble getting the giraffe to come out in the open. Very often with any animal, when you push it a little bit, it feels a lot more secure in thick bush, and that's exactly what's happening with these giraffes.
Finally, the giraffe break cover.
The dart is in. The dart is in. They're just heading them off. They're coming straight towards us. This is absolutely perfect. Here they come. It's not showing any signs yet. The giraffe in the middle is the one with the dart in, just crossing the road in front of us. It's amazing how fast these giraffes actually move. They don't look like they're running fast, but they're actually moving pretty quickly. Crucial that we keep them in the open.
Coordinating with the chopper, we keep these giraffes moving towards open ground.
I'm coming towards you along this road.
Okay, copy. Got your visuals in good direction.
Okay, we're going as fast as we possibly can along this road here.
But our darted giraffe breaks from the herd and makes a beeline right back into the thick stuff.
Get ahead of it now. Cut it off.
And we have no choice but to pursue. At these speeds, if she falls on her own, this whole thing could turn into a fatal disaster. But it takes all my focus just to keep from hitting one of these trees.
Okay, we've got to be in front.
Carter's War would like to thank the following people and organizations. Without their help, this program would not be possible.
Giraffe expert Julian Fennessy and I are in the middle of a historic operation, trying to execute the first ever giraffe collaring in Zimbabwe's history. But this tranquilized giraffe has just run straight into the thickest part of the bush. Dodging trees, I have to get my roping crew ahead of the animal so we can bring her down safely.
Okay, we've got to be in front to give the guys time to get out of the car.
Get about 200 meters in front of her. Get faster. Keep going the wrong way.
Buddha, out.
Hold it high. Let it slow.
Bajai.
Slow, hold it, just hold it. Hold it.
Bajai shit. Antidote is going in. We've covered its eyes. We're going to get a blindfold on right away. What they're doing is they're putting water on. This is a fairly long chase. It's starting to get hot, and overheating is a really important thing when dealing with wildlife, particularly wildlife like this that's had a little bit of a run.
With the giraffe stable, it's time to fit her with the tracking collar, the same device we used in Namibia. And as always, Julian takes measurements.
We're going to do some DNA sampling here, some tissue sampling. We've been testing all over Africa. What this is going to help us tell, is it similar to other ones in Southern Africa or ones in East Africa? It's basically who's who in this big giraffe zoo.
It's this sort of grassroots research that will generate the awareness needed for more professional, high-budget initiatives like this one.
And we've been figuring out that there actually might be different species. They're that different. So this will be critical. It's the first sample we've ever had out of Zimbabwe. And it's going to be basically one of the last links to figure out this mystery.
What an incredible conservation success. And what we're doing right here, this is history. This is the conservation wheel turning. This is modern conservation in motion. And as long as this kind of initiative carries on, the wildlife truly has got a hope.
I've worked with threatened and endangered species for years, but had never before considered giraffes among them. Indeed, much of the world is still ignorant to the plight of these majestic animals. Thanks to the pioneering spirit of Julian Fennessy, his organization, the GCF, and all of its volunteers and donors, giraffe conservation is at last getting the attention it deserves. And with individuals like Tom Okello and his rangers at Murchison Falls National Park, our forgotten giants now have a fighting chance. Here in Zimbabwe, it's time to get this giraffe back onto her feet.
Okay, ready?
Okay, ready?
Yep, let's go.
But she's not standing up on her own. I worry that she may have in fact overheated. But Julian insists that all she really needs
Okay, you ready?
is a little encouragement.
Come on, lady. Come on.
And here we go. Congratulations, brother.
We've just done history, well done.
We really have. That's history in making right there.
She's got a bit of go in her.